institutions that's supposed to be playing quasi-judicial roles, these institutions and even up to the legislature have been given certain powers or certain mandates to perform some activities. They tend to unearth these, but almost like these are unearthed and that's where the bar stops.
That is the problem. That is why people become emboldened.
For example, we have the Public Accounts Committee. This is boldly displayed on national television or even broadcast live on other electronic media. We know who may have been doing, or which institutions, not necessarily who, but which institutions may have been doing what and what less they were doing.
Yeah, most of these things, by the time they are on earth, the actors have disappeared. That is why invariably we find it difficult to prosecute some of them. Because by the time if you've been watching what goes on in the Public Accounts Committee, the person at the moment of time who is being interrogated
wasn't the one responsible.
Was not the one responsible. You understand? So it is probably institutional failures. All along the line, there will be a lot of institutional failures. We have not allowed the institutions to grow, and for the institutions, because of what? All of us sitting here are politicians. We have one way or the other interfered in institutions. And anytime we come, we tinker with it. The moment Party A comes to power, the director, you see, and it is because that whoever is in charge at the time of his stewardship, right, was not playing the ball according to the rules of the game. He also pampered to political authority. So immediately another party comes. The first thing is to get rid of him. And so we have. This
well, you are not getting rid of. You are reposted somewhere because according to the civil service rules, you can't go home. You can't go home. You are just reposted somewhere.
You know, so this is what is now hunting all of us. You see, we've been doing a lot of things negatively in the past, and it's now hunting us. And until we all come until we come out and say, look, we have to have a paradigm shift. Look, this country needs a serious paradigm shift. In all, I'm just with the minister word over youth indiscipline. It's all over the place. The youth indiscipline is culminating into the youth wanting to make money very quickly. And then, so when they find...
That is why you, the politician, they would want money from you before they vote for you.
Well, that's it. You know, so at the end of the day, when they are now coming up and they are giving positions, the first instant is what?
They want to make money first, not serve the public.
No, I must ride a V8. I mean, I must have the trappings of wealth. You know, so gradually, the indiscipline is seeping into the financial aspect of so it's quasi institutions that you are talking of need to sit up, and this is what somebody must take the bull by the horn. And
how do we strengthen the quasi institutions, quasi judicial institutions? I ask again.
You see, I think Ade has actually answered that. He talks about interference, where when somebody is even trying to do the right thing, by virtue of interference, the wrong thing is being done. Then you have issues where people, by virtue of their indemnity, political indemnity that they enjoy, they can do the wrong thing and get away with it. But if we pursue this path, where people, irrespective of where their political strength or political lineages lie, they are dealt with decisively. Next time when somebody is appointed, he will make sure he does the right thing, no matter what kind of influence is put on him. Because at the end of the day, it is his neck that's on the block. If we have a situation where people know that, oh, I mean, look at what was going on in the case of the National Service. And I'm not surprised.
And what has been going on for the last over 10 years now.
Well,
it's not service, it's a very recent thing.
And sometimes you find that is the reason why one person is out to get somebody's job, somebody is fighting to get somebody out. You use political influence, get that man out because I want to go there. I've heard that place is sweet. That, you know, that kind of thing. If the systems work and it starts from leadership, the kind of leadership that is going into the prosecution of this National Service Secretariat, I can't imagine it happening next time round. I can't imagine Secretariat functioning when you've asked almost the entire leadership of the Secretariat to step aside. It has to be filled. The place has to run. There are servicemen out there working, they have to be paid. So if you ask everybody to go home, what's going to happen?
Well, somebody needs to take responsibility for something.
So I would expect to see the president appoint people who are professional, people who can do the job from diverse areas. Some people from banking, some people from here, marketing, some people from accounts. Put them there to run the place.
Okay.
And when that is happening, next time round, as another government coming, the government will be reluctant to just change the people.
Well, it's a good point you make. And you also making inferences to whether the next time another government is coming.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that people who are appointed, whilst they are appointed for, based on their own competence, are not tend to be linked politically, whether it's another government that is coming in? As a result of that, even jeopardize their careers in many respects. Because I've had interactions with many people over the years in that very respect.
Thank you very much. I think part of my responsibility in this current dispensation, as a member of the opposition, is to put the government on its toes. One of the things I personally have been very much passionate about is some of the appointments that His Excellency our President has made. Frankly, some of them, even their understanding of the job that they are doing.
I don't get you. For example, the head of the National Service, the director who has been accessed to set up,
Yes.
is it Mr. Moro or somebody
Yes.
like has been working at the
Therefore,
place for a very
yes.
long time.
That is true.
It's not a
That
it's not
is
a
true.
political
Appointee.
yes.
That is true.
I mean, he's just, of course, you need approval by the president
I
for all
agree.
those appointments,
I
etc.
agree.
But I don't, just because it's part of the constitutional provisions.
Well, you see, like I said, he is supervised. He has a board. That board too is supervised. So if you start putting the right people at the top, it trickles through. You get the right people on the board, but then you might have a mix on the board. Some are right, some are wrong. But at the end of the day, the consideration is political pandering. So at bottom line, you're not getting results. Whereas there are other people, and I'm not the one to suggest to the president who he should appoint and who he should not appoint. But there are other people, in the president's table who say, this man has a very deep understanding of the issues on this particular area. One would expect that the president would have used the services of such a person rather than this other person. I get worried because at the end of the day, those people's decisions affect me and many others as citizens of Ghana, irrespective of where we belong politically. So these things should point out to us very clearly how appointments should be done and how politics must be done. Politics must be focused on solving problems and moving the country forward. That should be the focus of our politics. Too long and too often, politics is about fighting this man because he comes from that side or he comes from that other side. So therefore, whatever he says or whatever he knows or whatever, I will not agree.
You're speaking passionately. There's something beyond what you're saying, Mr. London.
But that is very true. I mean, our politics is part of vilification. You know,
Yes.
we just get up and even internally, internal political
Yes.
matters, right? As if you are going to war. You know, people get up and write all manner of things, but we have to discuss the issues. How are we positioning this country? You see, me and my brother sitting there, we are getting old. That it will come to a time that you call us the morning, we'll not be able to come here. You see, but what legacy have we left behind? And that's what we are talking about. So the internal vilification and insults and writing articles and that kind of thing about people should be a thing of the. If we don't stop it, what we come and sit there every morning talk about will bear no fruits. We have the corruption going. Instead of us constant, how are we going to get this rot out of our system? It's a 2-day wonder. The next minute, you write Alan Chamanti fighting Akufo-Addo. Headline. And what you actually have to talk about.
Or you've been a victim of some of this in the last couple of the last couple of weeks.
But
That's because you're in a contest. So if you're in a contest,
no, but when you're in a contest, look at other jurisdictions.
Exactly.
Cameroon,
They're very civil.
Miliband. Have you heard them trading insults among themselves? Obama, and somebody made a remark about Obama. What happened to that person? Even in the Republican Party, his party nearly lynched him. They asked him to resign. Because that's what they're talking about. They're talking about what can you offer? What can you do? What is your capacity? What's your capability? What's your competence? That's what we're talking about. And once we deviate from this kind of things, we will always be coming and talk about illegal visa sentence take over Accra, prison last vehicles, Nana Storm CNG. I mean, get angry over government. Is that what we are talking about? Look at the newspaper headlines. Tell me, is that what this country wants?
Now, all these things are happening, and they seem to be as if, well, President John Mahama is a president now, we're having all these things. But these things really are because of people's attitudes over time, and these are festered over the period. Now, it's as if they're coming to roost at a time when John Mahama is now the president. The backs seem to be stopping at, but he's really not at fault for many of these things. Right?
Well, when you say he's not at fault, I will agree with you that he's not the one committing these crimes. He himself is not the one.
Well, they seem to have been perpetuated over the period. And so
look, at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. He is the man in charge, commander-in-chief, president of the republic.
So he has to take responsibility. You know?
So he must show the way. He must give the direction. I believe that the appointees of the president must show what the president stands for. The appointees of the president, they are the ones who must demonstrate. You know, if the president says this is what I stand for, I stand for transparency, I stand for no corruption, any appointee will not even dream. If he was asleep and he was having a dream of corruption, he will wake up to be sure that he himself is not involved. But if there is a certain situation, because the immediate boss did corruption, he wasn't fired. So why shouldn't he? So the buck stops with the authority before that. And that is how it is.
But would you acknowledge that decent steps have been taken in many of these cases where heads have been asked to step aside?
I acknowledge. I said this is a clear sign that action is being taken. I want to see it as action being taken to solve a problem. I don't want to make it appear, I don't want it to, because you see, if you take action, being our interlinkages as a people, if you take action against this man, don't let his friends feel that you are taking action against him because it is him. Take the action in such a way that we all see that you are solving a problem. You know, so it is good that this action has been taken, and I would wish to see that proper steps are taken, right people are brought in there to act in the stead of those who have been asked to leave, so that the servicemen don't suffer. Because if you don't do it well, there will be equal leakages going on in this transition period. So part of your solving the problem also depends on, would be how you also manage the situation as a way of dealing with this thing so it doesn't recur again. That is the challenge.
It's a very difficult thing. We're hoping that as you conduct your politics,
yes.
that is. We'll come back to the subject of politics, though. But